Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your November forecast. I hope life is treating you well. I'm really happy you showed up today, and I know many of you like to see Apollo before we begin, so with the blessing of Apollo, let's get started here. This monthly forecast is going to help you move through the month of November. You can watch it for Sun, Rising Moon, or Venus, and I always like to begin with channeled messages. So today I took a hike and I was meditating on your sign, and as I was hiking, one of the things that came through loud and clear was a visual of a puzzle piece, and I could see, it's like, where does this fit? What's going on? So when I think of that puzzle piece, there's a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, what Spirit told me during that walk is that you are the piece that you're looking for. You're the missing piece. A lot of times we think, if I could just find this, like a partner, a job, more money, perfect place to live, all of these little components, you think this is going to make me whole. Whenever I'm doing a relationship reading, I always look for Ace of Cups energy because you need to find that sort of source of inspiration, the battery, the wellspring from within. Once that happens, you may find other things that add to the picture, but they're not the missing piece. You're the central piece to your life. Okay, so that was one big thing that came through. The other thing was I saw the spiral shape in my mind that I would associate with the golden mean or also a snail. So I thought of the one card in Rider-Waite-Smith that this is associated with, and it's the Nine of Pentacles. So a lot of times when we are working to be more successful, when we're trying to create something in our life, we wish it would just happen overnight. This is the slow, steady, but extremely successful card in the Minor Arcana that reminds you that it doesn't matter how quickly you get there, if you do it right the first time, and if it's something that's built to last. So this is a month where you really want to focus on firming up the foundations, getting to know and to love yourself. And in doing so, again, you're the missing piece. You're the one that is going to bring all of this together. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards, and I'll keep an eye out for things that also, when I think of that puzzle piece, might be confusing, things that could add to your life. And we're going to look for anything that can help you connect with that abundance in the Nine of Pentacles. One more time, we'll look at Apollo before we turn the camera down and get set up here. As always, before we shuffle the cards, I'd like you to close your eyes and let's set intentions. The intention here is to bring in the information that's going to give you the highest possible outlook and show you everything that you need to see, the twists, the turns, the in-betweens, so that you're fully empowered and capable of making the decisions you need to make. Let's also imagine brilliant, bright light of a rising sun that is clearing away any clouds in your mind, that is connecting with your heart space, opening you up to your intuition and to your instincts as well. And again, we'll call in the angels, the spirit guides, and ascended masters to help facilitate. When you're ready, open your eyes. Let's shuffle the cards and see what's in store. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin first and foremost with your catalyst energy. The catalyst helps you make necessary changes, and in this situation, it says, lean into the storm. I would connect that with tower energy, and a reversed tower in any sort of spread is an opportunity for you to affect the outcome by saying, all right, I can't make the change stop, but I can decide how I want to change, where I want to be when this all is sort of said and done. And in doing so, it's kind of like you're surfing the wave of change. We see the person protected here. So know that when you not only accept, but embrace that transformational energy, it allows you to basically spread your wings and fly like the butterfly. So if something's coming to a close, it's coming to a close for a reason. If there was a rapid change that was out of your control, it's redirection and protection that's going to help you get in a better path. And for some of you, there's just this like blinking like light. It's an aha moment where you finally realize, okay, I need to focus on this instead. Interestingly enough, as I'm looking at the spread, one of those sort of like distraction moments is right here at the center. Seven of Swords is often coming through when someone is acting foolishly or not being accountable. It requires a little bit of your time and attention, but don't let it take more time than it needs, because in the environment, we have the Seven of Wands. So right off the bat, I see something here where your ability to focus and recover quickly from a challenge is what's going to make or break opportunity this month. And we do have a lot of good cards associated with opportunity, like the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Swords. So before we get too much in the throes of all of this, let's start off with that center card, the ever tricky but really important Seven of Swords. I have good news here. The Seven of Swords is reversed. So from Spirit, this is basically saying two things. First of all, lead by example. If you have a promise that you're making, make sure that you can keep that promise. If you have appointments this week that are really important, keep those. Don't let somebody down. And if you need extra time or help, or if you realize, you know what, I think this isn't going to be possible, proactively communicate it, and then you're going to show up as being honest, being accountable, and being transparent in all the best ways. So I feel like this is a completely recoverable card because crossing it, we have the Knight of Swords, which is fast acting. It's the fastest moving minor arcana card. It's the fastest card in all of tarot. So think quickly on your feet, address any problems in real time, take accountability. If you make a mistake, say, you're right, I can and I will do better, it won't happen again. But keep that promise. Make sure that you are ready and willing to show up and do the work. Okay? A couple of other notes on the Seven of Swords, and then we'll get into the Knight. I want to go to the traditional one here. Don't get distracted. So in the background, we can see people causing a commotion, and then in the foreground, there's a person that's taking advantage of what's going on in the background. The reason you don't want to basically get distracted this month is in the environment, we have Seven of Wands. This comes on the heels of success. You're also meant to be going in other areas right now. We have Nine of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles, completing a project. This is just one little hiccup, one little thing. Don't let it take you off the path to success, okay? Let's get to the Knight of Swords, which is crossing that center card. Things are moving more quickly than they were before. Some of this could be changes, and this is, again, leaning into the changes and saying, you know what, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move to the next thing. This is also the speed with which your communication can get out there. So you could say, oh, I'm interested in this, and suddenly the universe delivers, or you talk to someone and word gets out there and you see results a lot quicker. By the way, if you have to deal with a challenging situation, maybe low morale, or you're trying to inspire someone, here's what I like with these two cards. This is showing that you see something, but you're trying to understand how it happened. So let's say someone is acting foolish, but they normally don't. A good way to communicate it is to say, I know this isn't like you. I know something must be going on. Tell me what it is, and know that this isn't something that I want to see repeated. But if you're going through something, I want to know so I can help you out. This is what a good leader does, and you can actually deal with that challenge a lot faster, and you can be a part of the solution rather than letting that problem get bigger than it needs to. If you look closely, you can even see the dust on this one. Like, I really see speed and momentum picking up. So quick recovery from any challenge, an opportunity for you to lead, for you to fix a problem quickly without dwelling on it too much. And really this month, know that your communication has rapid results. So speaking to someone about something that you like or don't like or want, all of a sudden the universe says, yeah, I hear you. Here you go. All right, let's move on to the deep past. You have the Page of Wands here, but it is in the reverse state. And I really think for a lot of you, this is about not overthinking. Why? Because the moment or the opportunity could pass you quickly. So if you think of something and you know that someone might be receptive, take advantage of the muse and take advantage of the moment. That idea is perfectly ripe and perfectly ready for this moment in time. If you feel or believe that it's something that there's something that you need to do in your life right now, if you delay, there could be a portal or an opening on the path in front of you that, again, it's ready for you. And if you delay, again, it could just take longer than necessary. I want you to trust your instincts. I think that's the most important thing here. One other thing here with a Page of Wands is a lot of times we lean into trying to see what other people think. All of the court cards in the suit of wands are basically imaginative and creative. We can actually see this page waving his wand and making something happen. So you're meant to do it differently. You're meant to sort of like try something new, a fresh approach, something different. And a Page of Wands in reverse is a little headstrong, but in the best possible way. Saying, no, I really believe this deserves a chance. Let's try it. So you can advocate for your idea. You're open to feedback, but you're also very clear that you have something to offer. So in relationships, in business, and in friendships, don't underestimate your input. And if anybody tries to make you second guess yourself, start to look at them too and think, well, why is it that you're so sort of like resistant to common sense or not open to something that I have to sort of say? And it might be just that they are playing a little bit of a game. And again, this month you don't have time for that because things are starting to move quickly. In the recent past, we actually got what I was talking about at the very beginning, the Nine of Pentacles, just a very different illustration for it. So again, the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card shows a little tiny snail in the corner and then a lot of like just abundance coming through. Some of you have put in the hard work, maybe months or years of just really investing in yourself, working hard. And this is why it does pay off. I feel like there could be someone around you that's taking a shortcut, might be saying or doing something that's not right. And it makes you wonder, when is it my turn? I feel like now it's imminent because what we see here is other like-minded people. We have a family in this Nine of Pentacles. So you're going to pull in like a soul family of other hardworking people that together you're going to flourish. So you don't have to do this alone. That's the big takeaway. So normally this is a very solo card, but even in this illustration, there is a core group and it gets bigger on this card here as well. So whether you're looking at a business and you want to grow it, or a partnership and you want to take it next level, a love relationship and you want to see if it can grow, I see things getting richer, things getting deeper, things getting better. And so this is a month of growth for you so far. That's what I see. Growth, and it may have been slower coming than you wanted it to be, but sometimes that is actually optimal because it's more sustainable and you appreciate it better. Things are all the more appreciated and richer when you don't get them overnight because you know what it was like to maybe work really hard or struggle. And so you earn this moment and just enjoy it, okay? All right, in the crowning position, we have Temperance. I love Temperance because it's one of the angelic cards, which basically means in this moment in time, if you slow down long enough, you're receiving guidance from Spirit. What we also see here is a path that's opening up, but it's not, again, not about how quickly, but about how carefully and how intentionally you move down the path. So a slow, steady, measured, methodical approach this month will pay off. There will be plenty of time to make up for any perceived lost time later, but the beginning should be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more thought out, a little bit more measured. The way that this Temperance card looks is it's almost a little bit more alchemic, mixing and sort of like creating that perfect balance. And you do have that sort of mixology piece here. So you may be deciding, I want to try a little bit of this, I want to try a little bit of that. How do I feel? What do I want to do next? You're very hopefully in touch with your heart space and your emotions. take time also to empathize with others and weigh out all possibilities, all sort of inputs. And then when you're ready, you can always proceed. But take a temperature test or a pulse check and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Again, slow and steady, clear and methodical, one step at a time. This month, you have the ability to not only build something that can last, but take something to the next level. You have the 10 of Pentacles here. Let's talk about it. This is a contractual card. Some of you might be signing a long-term contract. It can be marriage. It can be in business. We see financial growth and wealth here. And it's also something that can really stand the test of time, especially as we see the archway here. You might be entering into a new era or new phase of your life. There's a little bit of baggage. We're going to talk about it in a second from the past because you came through with 4 of Pentacles, which is a limiting perspective, but don't be limited by what happened before. Embrace what's happening now and think to yourself, you know what? This is the beginning of something new. It's the tip of an iceberg, because I really get that that's possible. You can also bring together diverse amounts of people and people from different backgrounds here. So we see the only other card that reminds me of this is the Death card, because we have people of every walk of life, someone old, someone young, we have animals, we have people in the middle, and basically just like the Death card where everybody can be touched by change, everyone can also be touched by love or growth this month. So let's lean into that. Have some fun this month. If you've worked really, really hard, 9 of Pentacles, by the way, is a card of treating yourself. So if you have given yourself a lot to do and you're like, oh my gosh, I've accomplished this, but when am I going to have some fun? This card is saying now, take care of yourself, like drink in the moment, okay? And celebrate your success with the people that have worked hard to create that with you, whether that's your best friend, your lover, your family, or your coworkers. Celebrating and also just extending gratitude. Thanks for the hard work. Couldn't have done it without you. Some of you might be moving in with somebody. You might be buying a house or, again, signing a contract. 10 of Pentacles is all of that. It's wealth. It's marriage. It's signing on the dotted line. Okay? So I like the energy that's presenting itself. So far, the only thing that could distract you is a person possibly that's jealous, that could be trying to get into your headspace, but you're not going to let that happen. You're just going to move on, walk on by. It reminds me of that old song by, can't think of her name right now, Dionne Warwick. Just walk on by. There's better things to focus on. And we kind of see that character from the first card from the 7 of Swords popping up its head again. So someone's trying to create a stink, like a skunk, or make a problem. But this guy's moving on past that, saying, you know what? I got better things. I see what it's all about. I see what the future holds. This is just one blip, one moment, one speck, and it's not going to hold me back. All right. This is the sort of limiting thought process that I was talking about. You received a 4 of Pentacles in reverse, and it's encouraging you to look at opportunity. Opportunity in this particular illustration is knocking. And the interesting thing here is sometimes we hold on to what's predictable. Here's your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. That person, for dear life, is holding on to that center coin. They also are fixating in the crown chakra on money and the limits around it possibly, or opportunities and whether they're coming or going. And then they're also keeping themselves from moving forward. All of these are, it's like holding on for dear life. So when this card is reversed, it's about letting go and thinking if it's meant to be, it will be. If it's not, it will be okay. I'm in the flow of abundance, because you are this month. I mean, we really see right here one potential hiccup, and that could cause this. But between that, we have success and more success, and you just needing to move on to the next thing. So I'm also looking at the potential for more. So 4, 5, 6. So if you look on the wall, there are 2 outlines for where there might be something new or something has been reinvested. So sometimes when we take and move our resources around, it can be a little scary, particularly if you own your own business, or if you're investing in yourself and going to school, or if you just had to dig into savings a bit. It looks like you're going to make a recovery this month. So try not to focus so much on the initial investment. In order to grow, sometimes you need to invest. Also, when it comes to what's possible, don't limit yourself. Don't create an imaginary glass ceiling. think to yourself, this is one thing that I can do, but how about this and how about this? I really want you to go into the dreaming energy because you are going to succeed this month. We have, as long as you don't get in your own mental space too much, we have the Seven of Wands, which comes after success. So that's how I can infer that. And in this Seven of Wands, she's reaching for something new. I like that this isn't about pushing back on things. She's actually more in an embracing energy. She's saying, I can take this and then some, because after this is the rocket ships taking off in the Eight of Wands. So she sees the finish line. She's keeping an eye on that. And she's like, I'm just going to focus on what matters most. There's always a capacity in the Seven of Wands to delegate and to basically say, hey, can I count on you for this? Or this doesn't matter so much now. I'm going to do it next week and focus all of my intention on this so that I can really succeed. So be mindful of what your goals are, delegate as necessary, and keep reaching for your goals and aspirations. Don't limit what's possible, okay? Ask for more if you need it. Whenever we have a limiting card like this or a lower card like this, it's really important to just ask for more. Sometimes you get it, right? And I think this month you have a great chance of getting it because in possibilities, we have the King of Swords. Without a doubt, he's the best card for communication. He measures his actions, words, and basically chooses the moment just right. So I really want you to think of timing. And that is why, my friends, we have Temperance at the very top here. So it's especially easy to see in this illustration. When you weigh everything out and decide, should I start it today? Should I start it tomorrow? How am I going to do this in the most strategic and impactful way, then you can really make things work. Look at all the scrolls behind him. There could actually be a large audience that you could reach this month in your marketing, in your communication. You have a chance here for those of you that are teachers or independent business people to really make a splash. Make sure you're using social media in the right way and using it to your advantage. If you need something, speak up. Walk the walk and talk the talk, and that's basically everything we have to say here. It's a great card, and I like the general sort of energy that we're seeing here. Things are moving quickly, and they're moving quickly in a positive direction. In the outcome, we have the Five of Wands reversed. This is an encouragement from Spirit to work smarter, to collaborate, and to cooperate. Avoid unnecessary sort of territorial energy or competition. If we look really closely in the foreground, you can actually see ants moving things, and ants are really strong, very capable, and if you surround yourself with a few people that have really good leadership skills, it's about the quality, not the quantity. So in any sort of group activity, lean on the leaders and focus on areas where you can collaborate and know that together you're stronger, and that's really the message here. Sometimes this can feel like frustration. You're like one step away from success, which we actually see here within reach in the environment too. So the key to success here also is to keep moving. Sometimes with Five of Wands, it's almost like you're on a hamster wheel and you're putting in the effort, but stationary. So what I would say here is if there is something where there's diminishing returns or you're not seeing an energetic return on your investment, it's time then to take a step back and look around. Is there something else where I'm more appreciated, more effective, or just more inspired? Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And as we take a look at the cards here, we have a beautiful puppy coming through here showing loyalty, affection, and companionship. For many of you, it could just be a call to focus on the things that matter most, your best friends, your pets, people in your life that really give back, just like little Apollo does for me. So that's the first thing that I'm picking up on. Additionally, I think this could be a month of revelation because at the center, we have like the antithesis of this, the opposite. This is someone who is not loyal, but then coming through right on the heels of that is someone that really has your back. So you may see a couple different types of people and a couple different types of environments this month. And this is going to help you decide what's best for you, what's healthiest for you, because we want to bring this back into the energy of health. We can also read this at face value. Some of you may be adding a furry friend to your family. We actually see on the Ten of Pentacles 2 dogs here in the background. So this is a month where if you're looking to either possibly adopt or rescue or somehow connect with a pet that's coming through. This can also show just an addition of someone loyal into your life. Now, again, what's kind of interesting here when we're looking at themes of loyalty, I think that you're going to be able to figure out who you want to spend time with and where you want to spend your time, because we have two very opposite energies here. This one is something that lacks transparency, honesty, and it's not a place you want to be, the Seven of Swords. And then on the flip side, we have this sense of being right at home. I want you to trust your instincts when you're looking at, anything in your life, a big decision, moving into a house. Do you like the neighborhood? Starting a new job. Is there good morale there? It's the people in the environment that are going to make something stand the test of time and also allow you to thrive there. So let me restate this. If you don't like where something is or the people involved with something, go in the other direction. There's something better for you. We have two cards here that show slow and steady is the key to success. So if you make any changes this month, Temperance is saying one step at a time. Don't overnight change your eating, diet, or sleep habits, for instance. Nine of Pentacles also shows the need to, even if you're in a really big family group or activity, to have a little bit of time to yourself. This is typically a meditation card as well. So slow down, meditate, have some time for yourself, and really pay attention to environments. They're going to either make or break your success and your mental happiness and your emotional health as well. Some of you might be overthinking to the point of creating unnecessary stress. So lean on the support of others. We have two cards of communication here. So talking to a counselor, whether it's a doctor or just a career counselor, could be really, really helpful. Four of Pentacles can also be holding on to stress. Let me see if I have the traditional one on the side here, just to cross-reference it. So when you hold on to stress, sometimes it causes tension in the shoulders. It can also cause issues with hypertension. Generally speaking, we don't want you to be holding on to things. It's good to exercise or do something that allows you to release. And then I think at the end of the day here, changing up your environment could also be good with this Knight of Swords. A trip, a vacation, an excursion could do a lot of positive sort of goodwill for you. One thing that I do want to touch upon here is this. So lean into the storm. If there's something that needs to be said to someone, because again, at the very beginning, we talked at pretty great length about this card, the Seven of Swords. If someone has been dishonest, if someone isn't keeping up their part of the bargain, their part of the contract, it's important to deal with that for your own. Just sometimes we have to get it out, right? Just say, this is not what we talked about. This is upsetting me, and allow that to then be released. Okay, that's the last thing that I'm seeing there. Seven of Swords, we did hit on this a little bit earlier, but it's also saying that until you're truly ready and accountable, it's going to be difficult to make the kind of changes that you want in your life. An example of this sometimes is you'll think, well, I'll start that tomorrow. I'll make that change in next week. I'm not ready yet. So once you're ready, things take off, but until you are, it's going to be really difficult to connect with this fast-moving energy of the Knight of Swords. Okay? Now let's take a look at the next part of the extended forecast here. We're going to move on to wealth, which is resources, life, purpose, and career. And this one really stood out when I was looking at it earlier. Great illustration. It's a reverse card. Let's read what it is and see where the struggle is. It says, compassion for loved ones. May you be free from suffering. It's in wealth. So for some of you, there could be a little bit of an overlap between school, work, and romance. And this could also mean that people that you spend time with are dealing with problems outside of work. So maybe someone that you work with is going through a divorce, or maybe a best friend lost a parent, or perhaps things are just kind of in disarray with someone's life because we see this lean into the storm. They could just be dealing with a multitude of things that are going on at once. And know this, there's only so much that you can do to provide support. Be the friend or the coworker or the sort of person that they need in their life, but you're not necessarily the doctor, the teacher, the mother, the father, so you don't have to mop up the whole mess. Just let them know that you're there, that you hear them, and maybe you can connect them to a resource if that's what's going on. because there are things sometimes that are way outside of our expertise and our comfort zone. So don't bite off more than you can chew with respect to that. The compassion piece, I think, will help you with everything, though. And this is especially good for the center card. And we're going to now break it down, but I'll talk about that in just a second. So we're going to look at those that are in a traditional 9-to-5 job, those that might be job seeking, and then we'll look at students and retirees. As a part of those who have jobs, I'll also look at entrepreneurs. But we have to start off first with traditional 9-to-5 workers. This compassion piece and the 7 of Swords, they kind of go hand in hand. So let's talk. If somebody lets you down, whether you're working with them, you're working for them, or they're working for you, this is the key to success. You can say something like, normally you don't do this. Is there something going on? Was there something that I said that wasn't clear? Help me understand why we're at this conversation right now. So they already know it's serious, but they also know you're open and you're kind. And that gives them a chance to state their case, okay? And if someone is going through something and they made a mistake, it's okay now, you understand, you have compassion. Nobody's perfect, nobody's a machine. And that compassion can help build trust and can help them understand, like, okay, maybe I need some time off, maybe I need to recalibrate. Then you can focus and have someone else step in. Be compassionate with someone else. Most importantly, be compassionate with yourself. If you feel like you wish you would have done things different in your educational or career path or whatever, you're exactly where you need to be right now. It's about the next step in the journey. So if you made a mistake on your first day at a job, or even after, being there for several years, nobody's perfect. That's the takeaway here. Let's see what's going on in most of your traditional jobs here. What I love, in fact, is 9 of Pentacles leading to the 10 of Pentacles. What I also really, really appreciate is your voice seems to be amplified right now. So we see more resources or more appreciation. We see an amplification of your voice or your point of view. And all of that bodes well for you. You may be suppressing or holding back on your ideas. Please don't. Please speak up. The Page of Wands is overthinking. So one of the ways that people can start to see and appreciate what you have to offer is by you speaking up more. And by just acting on your intuition. They're going to start to just see you as someone who has great instincts, right? Challenges for some of you, I think, could be limitations on how much support, time, or energy people are willing to give you in order to get something done. Even though you can do a lot with it, ask for more. Reach for more. It is within reach. Push back if there's something that is, I want to say the word impossible, but I think it's not feasible. So if something isn't feasible, isn't realistic, or is just ridiculous, push back and say, I want to do it too, but this falls short of what is necessary. And it does. 4 of Pentacles, you need at least 2 more Pentacles for that to work. So that could be 20%. That could be 20,000 or whatever, units or dollars, or something's missing, and it's more than a little. So basically go into a data approach and say, if you do this, I can add this. If you add a little bit more of this, then I can do this. And it's basically showing them what they're going to get for their investment. Okay? Or just letting people know that if you stretch resources too much, the quality is going to lack. Maybe you can meet the deadline, but there's no testing, there's no approval process. It's not going to be worth it. And it does feel like there's someone that just wants to rush it. This is the person. The 7 of Swords is attached to the Knight of Swords. They're hasty. What we want is the more prudent energy here of the 7 of Wands and King of Swords. So push back, be strong, speak reasonably and from a place of reason. And the angelic energy of Temperance comes through also to say, if we just slow down for a second and address this, it'll all be fine. So you have to be clear and wise and collaborative and cooperative, right? And there is power in getting things in a written form like we see here. So maybe literally they're doing a spell. Spell it out. Put it in a blueprint. Put it in an illustration. Create a small prototype and say, here's what's possible. Are you on board? Also, we have some good news here for many of you. There could be a promotion that's en route here with the 10 of Pentacles. Or, more powerfully, you could speak an opportunity into existence with the Knight and the King kind of on either side of this. So I really think it's important to communicate wishes, desires, and plans, especially if now is the time typically so that things can get put into motion for the next year. This is the thing that I really want many of you to focus on is, do you trust the boss, the manager, the place that you're working at? Have they kept promises before, or do they constantly make all these promises but never follow through? This then is the pivot point for some of you to decide, am I in, am I out? Do I want to stay, or do I want to move in a new direction? You've got too much to offer, and you really want to hold them to their promise. Get it in writing, folks. This is a card of writing and communication here, Knight of Swords. This is a contract. This is another, maybe there's a couple of back and forths, but I actually think you can land on something. For everybody else, it's a great month to communicate. You can step into a leadership role, walk the walk, talk the talk. You should be successful. All right, let's move on to those that are job seeking right now. I think it is so important to know who you're going to be possibly working for. Do the online homework, read reviews, look and see if you know anybody there, and get some internal feedback on things like the morale. Seven of Swords shows that there's things that have been pushed beneath the surface that you want to know about before you get there. Contracts may have some fine print that just isn't sitting well with you. Review, push back. As someone who used to work in production for a bit, most contracts have the ability to be revised. People just don't always ask. So circle it, redline it, and say, I think we need to reassess this. Help me understand this. Don't sign until you're 100% sure. If someone that, I would say the other thing here is be very honest about your background, because that could also come to the light of day. So you want them to be honest, and you also need to be honest as well with the Seven of Swords at the center. This is a month where you can get more than the initial offer might be. Four of Pentacles could also be what you think you're worth, but I see more. So I really want you to focus on also doing the homework on seeing what kind of like the industry standard is for good compensation, and hold people to that. Let's see. Communication is just jumping off of this spread. For those of you that want to go into law or media or journalism or be a writer or just be a public speaker, all of that stuff is coming forth and saying yes, yes, yes. For everybody else, really just speaking up a little bit more, particularly when it comes to the interview, is going to be key. Possibly hiring someone to help you fine-tune your CV or resume, or rebuild your website so that it's showing the best part of you. That's going to be important as well. Can you find something, and when will you find something? Can you find something? Yes, Ten of Pentacles. When? Actually, I feel like pretty quickly with the Knight of Swords, but there are two different options coming through. We have the Knight and the King. I kind of prefer the King. It may not happen as fast. So make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to get all of the offers, and you're not immediately signing. Sleep on anything important. Also, this is a card of slight travel, so you might be looking at not necessarily moving, but commuting a little bit, whether that's by plane, train, or automobile, and you're just saying, all right, I'm going to add that to the commute. I'm going to advocate for a little bit more money when I go for the interview, and it may be worth it in the long run. One sort of thing that I want to do here, just to keep you realistic with yourself, is don't take a job if it reads as something that feels like it might be boring or lacking any sort of inspiration, because they're going to expect a lot from you, and it's hard to stay motivated when you just don't feel it from the onset, okay? Also, don't push yourself too hard, and don't sort of like beat yourself up on trying to get something immediately. Everything that we've been talking about is slow and steady this month, okay? So take your time in getting into something new. Okay, for those of you that are students, yeah, we'll move to that next. What I see here for students is pretty good overall, especially with these three cards. I think that the Seven of Swords is the most important. It's a question of intent. Like, why are you either going to this school or taking this class or pursuing this major? Is it because you want it, or is it because you're being pushed to do it, or you're doing it simply because you think it might pay well or something like that? There needs to also be a sense of passion, excitement, and enthusiasm. Years and years later, decades later after me going to school, I'm so happy I studied things that I cared about, because then I can use the tools. I was never going to be a lawyer. That was not my passion. I thought of being a teacher, and I found my way to it in a different path. but I chose sort of skills, communication, storytelling, filmmaking, that I knew that would help me in the long run. So you don't necessarily have to legitimately just do that title, but you can use those skills to maybe try something new or build your own business or something like that. But if you're lacking the interest at the onset, just like those that are seeking jobs, it's not going to necessarily get easier down the line. I want you to feel a sense of passion and excitement. Okay? I mean, you can do what you want to, of course, but that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is just to have some fun with it, because then that makes you really powerful and successful, because people are going to be drawn to that. I think that most of what you're doing is okay. Seven of Wands is saying maybe push back on, if there's someone that's trying to get some more time and energy, I think you have enough on your plate. You don't necessarily need to take something off, but just don't add anything to it. That's what I'm seeing here. And then figure out why you're doing what you're doing. That will help you get past the Five of Wands. Retirees. It's a good time to be retired. What I see for retirees right now is possibly just wanting to move on to the next phase really quickly, but there's a little bit of healing to be done here, and a little bit of stress management too. And it could be over money, but I actually feel like it's tracking in the right direction. Getting a handle on money, budget, and what you want to do, and figuring out how to bring that together. So a little bit of estate planning, a little bit of financial advice would help at the beginning of the month. And then after that, what I see for some of you is maybe some spiritual development, or just getting involved in the community. The Ten of Pentacles can just be giving back, a volunteer job, a teaching job, a mentorship job. Okay? And I'm looking for some fun in this whole spread for those that are retired. And I think that the fun thing here for some of you might just be kind of like going off on your own and doing something. It could be writing a book. It could be doing something in the garden. There is a sort of solitary energy, which I can totally get behind here. So it feels like working on your own on something that really matters. That's the key here. And again, there's a lot of literary energy here. So reading, writing, teaching, mentoring could be something that you're drawn to do as well. Let's move on to love and relationships. In this space, we have the red garden that came through. The card is in reverse. What I really get with this is, are you ready to grow? Or is this relationship sort of stagnating? And what we see here is the potential for something to go next level. So already right off the bat, I really love that we have Ten of Pentacles, which is growth and commitment. I think it all sort of hinges on the timing if you're going to have that conversation. But before I get too deep into this, let's go ahead and break it down. So we're looking at areas of growth or stagnation. We're going to focus on those in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy, beginning with those already in a relationship. Assuming you've been in it for a while, I actually think things are treading in the right direction. There could just be this moment here where you're afraid of the person not wanting to sort of like talk about it, or maybe they said yes and you're like, do they truly mean it? Nothing here shows me that they didn't mean it. I feel like this is a fear based on something from the past. So just keep being communicative with one another. I do see one area where communication can be enhanced. So you're the first sign this month where I think we got two swords, and like in the court cards too. So we have a knight and a king. Knights are hasty. They often speak without thinking. Kings are verbose. They'll just speak. Neither of these two are listening. So I think you want to listen more carefully. And even if you think you're a good listener, there's even a chance to be a better one. And if you're not getting the sort of support that you need, also speak to that. Just say, I really need a moment. Before you interrupt, just let me say what I need to say, and then I'll let you say your piece. And maybe you sort of like create the game plan for how the conversation is going to go so that you both get equal parts. But one thing that you can do to really impress your partner this month is if they say that they wanted something or something was bothering them, out of the blue, show them that you heard it and follow up. Say, oh, by the way, I did what you asked. It's over there. And I also did this. And show a couple like moments where they're like, oh, you're really on point. And this is what's going to help with the sort of commitment energy here. And by leading by example, they're going to be more willing to listen to you, hopefully. So that's what I see here is improved listening, and you can kind of model the behavior this month if you want to. The relationship is fine, but this is a kind of lukewarm card. Whenever the Temperance card comes through, just like we can see here, there's a little bit of balancing. Both of you are trying to sort out some of your stuff. And I think that the one thing that we could do is focus on rekindling the flame a little bit. So Page of Wands, fire, deep past. Page of Wands is overthinking. I think the most important thing here could just simply be to show up and to surprise the partner with something, or ask, say, hey, I'd really like to do something. When are you free this week? Some people don't like surprises. You'll know your partner better. In that case, you're just saying, I'm thinking of you. I'm happy to do the planning, but can we do it? Let's do it. That is showing engagement and interest. And otherwise, things are fine. I would say one thing here with the Four of Pentacles is one or both of you could be holding back. It isn't necessarily a secret, because sometimes the Seven of Swords can be a secret. It could just be non-disclosure or fear of communicating for fear of judgment. And we don't have judgment. So I think it's worth sharing a little bit more, being a little bit more honest, a little bit more vulnerable, because there's favorable energy here. It should be easier. That's one thing that I see here. All relationships are work, but they shouldn't feel like a job. So when it starts to feel like it's arduous, shake up the routine a little bit. And we can go back to this, lean into the storm. Something needs to be fixed. Something needs to be changed. The Tower is about changing it and saying, hey, why don't we go have a picnic? Why don't we eat out? Why don't we eat in? Whatever you normally do something different. And if there's pushback, just say, no, I feel like a change. Let's try this. That's where you can push a little bit. Changing up the routine, being a little bit more having a little more spontaneity could be really good. Let me see if there's anything else that we should be focusing on. I think that's pretty much it. It's manageable as long as you're honest. If there is dishonesty, it will come to the surface, and that's going to be more challenging. You can still work past it, but it's better if you're honest throughout this month. Let's move on to those that are looking for love. Can you find it? Yes. We have a very similar energy to you. There could be an air sign coming through, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. There could be an age gap. And this is true of all relationships this month, but a Knight and a King, it's okay. It's better than a Page and a King, but it's either maturity or age, maybe up to a decade, but if we're looking at an age gap. But the thing here could also simply be a confidence issue. And the thing is, I think you're more on the level than you might imagine. So just trust in yourself. Remember, like energy attracts like energy. The person is drawn to you because there's something about you that reminds them of them, and the two of you have done work, and at least in their eyes, you're probably more in that on that sort of equal ground. But if they do anything to make you feel less than, that is a red flag. So air sign energy is what you're pulling in. The person may be really ready to commit with the Ten of Pentacles. Are you as ready? Figure out what you're looking for. From a time and energy perspective, you're busy, but I actually do feel like you can work this into your schedule this month. So the short answer is yes. There is an old fire sign from the past that should remain in the past, based on what I'm seeing. This is where dishonesty existed. I don't see the same pattern here in the future, so that's good. Let X's remain X's and allow for this new air sign energy or communication energy come through. It feels like it's easy. Like you could talk all night to this person. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. Okay, moving on to those that are single and happy. First of all, good for you. I see a chosen family around you and a lot of community. So this is a great time to network, to make new friends. Some of you are going to school or just getting really involved with activities, and you're making a lot of new friends. I also think you have a lot to give. I keep getting teacher and mentorship energy time and again this month. So if that's something that you want to do, by all means, lean into that. Let's move on to destiny. You got the tree in the reverse state. This is a card of being grounded and being very sort of stuck in one position. And for some of you, you might be uprooted right now. And as comfortable and as familiar as it might have felt to be in the same place for a long time, there's a lot of growth that can happen when you allow yourself to try something new. So we get that uprooted energy. I mentioned Tower reverse, leaning into change or that storm. Ultimately, the good news is, I'm going to pull the traditional Ten of Pentacles here. The pattern that you see on here is the Tree of Life. So Home isn't a structure. Home is the people in the card. So you can move or change structures, but if you're with the people that you love the most, you're at home. And this is something from someone who has moved a lot and had to let go of everything and then rebuild it again. For me, home is just being healthy and happy and being with this little lovely guy. You don't need a lot to be happy, folks. Let's take a moment now and look at sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what's in store for your sign. Sun, rising, and moon. We've got some big cards coming through. We're going to start off first with the sun sign. Your card is the Emperor. In this deck, it's called the Horned God. What's interesting on this card is, again, we're seeing that energy of being with a chosen family or a community. This is not an emperor sitting on his throne. This is someone who is connected to a larger group. So once again, we're seeing an opportunity this month to settle into an environment or a chosen family or a group that just really lifts you up. Now, there's some other things here with the Emperor card. A good boss, a good leader, isn't overly pushy. They lead by example. The door is open, but they don't micromanage. So when it comes to core relationships, give people room to show that they've got what it takes to succeed. Don't kind of be like a helicopter mom, dad, or boss. And if someone's trying to do that to you, remind them that you've got this and that this is actually counterproductive, whatever they might be doing, okay? And then ultimately, this is a self-care card. So just like this person might be helping all of the creatures around him, this is a moment for him to take care of himself. So for you, self-care, whether that's making sure that you go to the doctor, making sure that if you need help that you ask, just giving yourself time to rest and relax, all of these things are a part of that, okay? Let's move on to rising. Stress management, kind of building out of that, but this is a lot more specific. So we have 9 of Swords. The card is upright. And this can be read just as a health energy where you might be carrying your problems from work or from a relationship all the way to the moment that you put your head on the pillow. And there needs to be a place to decompress that isn't when you try to go to sleep. So for this, for sure, you could benefit from therapy or trying to reduce some of the stressors in your life, whatever activities or people might be coming through. Invariably, this is usually fear-oriented, and it's not as bad as it seems, feels, or looks, but in the moment, it's intense. And so I'm not diminishing that stress or anxiety is very real. It isn't something that you can sweep under the rug. So this is the most important connection to this, which was lean into that and figure out how you can deal with that, where you can go to feel safe, and know that tomorrow's a reset. Every day is a new day. This is also a call to enhance your sleeping environment. If you're sleeping on a mattress that's old or not supportive, change it up. If you haven't changed your comforter in a while, buy something new. Wash all of it frequently because it holds energy. Think of how long we sleep. Not only is it sanitary, but it also is energetically positive to clean it. I'm constantly washing my sheets and my comforter and my duvet and all of that. I'm like, let's keep that energy flowing and going in the right direction. And then just generally, meditation could really help you prior to rest. Okay, now let's take a look at moon sign messages. Many, many changes here. This is the ultimate card in the major arcana. So for some of you, change is happening faster than you thought. This can be someone tapping on your shoulder and saying, hey, I've got this great opportunity, but it starts today or it starts tomorrow. What do you think? You can still have some time to kind of calibrate it, but there is going to be a need in this moment to embrace change more quickly than you might normally. This is also saying that there could be something that you're holding on to that is absolutely done. It's time to release it and move on to the next thing. I'm not rushing you, but this is a card where a door is opening. You're at a place where it's time to release. So allow yourself to move beyond stress and fear. Talk to someone if you need to, and then start to explore. At least open your mind to the possibilities. Generally, that is a card of expansion. Reversed, it's contraction. So we don't want to contract, we want to expand. All of this and then some. Why not? Let me give it a try. Or let's talk about it. Let's get some more information. You can always inform yourself. That's still expanding your knowledge before you make the decision. One last card, folks. Let's take a look at the final question, final card. Anything that you still need some guidance on, go ahead and formulate that question. Let's see what your guides and what Spirit has to say. I love it. It's a yes. High Priestess, yes. Yes, comma, but you have to believe it. Spirit is only going to really kind of show up, and people are only going to connect with you if you believe in what it is that you're putting out there into the universe. So believe in yourself. Really focus on the power of thoughts. So in this moment in time, feel the sense of self-worth, embrace possibilities, meditate, visualize, and believe. All of these things help bring it into everyday life. Your intuitive skills are off the charts here with this, whatever question you were asking. This is an encouragement not only to do a little bit more with intuitive development, but also anything creative or spiritual, okay? It's a yes with many exclamation points. Only one asterisk, which is you've got to believe in yourself for it to really happen. Magic only works if you believe in it, so please believe in yourself. All right, folks, that is everything for this month. Thank you for your patience. Again, this month I was getting over a cold, so all of these are coming out towards the end of the month here. But I do appreciate it. I'm going to flip the order next month so you'll get them earlier. So thanks for your support. You can show some love by hitting the subscribe button if you're brand new, liking it if you're a longtime viewer, and also if you've never opted into notifications, consider doing that. I know that sometimes things slip through, the notification feed on Google, so you can also go to all these platforms here, and it's my full name. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. You can go to my website if you need links. Do remember that I am never going to directly connect with you in a DM. So if someone tries to chat you up or tells you to contact them on WhatsApp or something, that isn't me. And I also don't offer private readings. So that's just a good way to sort out the imposters. If you want to show love and support, you can do it right here through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. This helps me do more videos just like this, plus some cool projects that I'm working on in the future. So thank you in advance. And with that being said, lots of love from Apollo and from yours truly. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here without your love, without your support. Let's put some confetti because I feel like it. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great month, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.